It's Friday. It's here. The moment you've been waiting for all fucking week has arrived. It is the Hot Wire, ladies and gentlemen, and it starts right now.
Are you ready? I'm ready. Live on Revolution Radio, please welcome the hosts of the Hotwire, Knox.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to the Hot Wire. I hope you didn't miss me too much because you know what? I really missed you guys. You know, my favorite part of the week is right now, right when I get to connect to you listeners. I know you're there, you're feeling Tommy Knox. Well, guess what? Tommy Knox is feeling all y'all, all right? I want to just thank everybody again for their appreciation, their participation. It's been an awesome experience. I love being on the Hot Wire. I love that you love me being on the Hot Wire, right? And it's starting to become a special bond, and I gotta say, it's the favorite time of my week. So we're gonna jump right into some fan questions here and get the best part of the show out of the way because I know what this is really what you guys have been looking forward to all week. We got a decent amount of questions this week, so thank you everyone that submitted them. Question number one comes from Ella Torres. She says, "What is the best part of your job?" Well, you know what, Ella? It's this. It's right here. It's being on the air, talking to you guys, knowing that out there you guys are getting some semblance of pleasure out of listening to my show. And that's pretty rewarding. You know, that's what really kind of drives me to get my ass in gear and do this every week. So, again, I appreciate it, everybody. Gary Weiss asks, "What do you see being a potential? I'm sorry, who do you see being a potential SCW heavyweight champion?" Like I said last week, I think Ryan Keys could be. I do believe Conor Murphy has a world heavyweight championship run inside him. And as much as it pains me to say it sometimes, you know, Rage has all the potential in the world. He doesn't seem to show all of that potential all the time, especially when he's, you know, defending internet championships. But he does have that ability. Let's see here. Trisha Jones, do you think the normal rules match should be taken off the roulette wheel? You know what? I do. I really do. Like, to me, someone's got to go in with a fine comb and get rid of the shit that people decide on what goes on the roulette wheel. You know, like that grounded match, you know, or the powder puff pillow fight mud bath matches, right? It's cool. Some don't get me wrong; they don't all have to be hardcore matches or extreme matches. I like that stuff, but you know, I like the 2 out of 3 falls matches or the unique matches that we get sometimes. Like a few years ago, we had a 2 out of 3 falls tables match, which is pretty cool. Stuff like that is fun, you know. Again, we had that Four Corners casket match, really cool stuff. But to have a regular wrestling match, I mean, it makes no sense. What the fuck is the point of having the roulette wheel, right? Let's just have a match. Um, let's see here. Troy Stevens, who do you think Joshua Ocwen will go after next? Um, I don't know. You know, I mean, at this point, it's whoever he thinks he can beat up pretty easily, right? I want to see him go after a Rage or a Dimitri or a Casey Williams, you know, someone who might actually fight back. How about that, Josh? You know, again, I said this all the time. I say it all the time. Joshua Ocwen has a lot of potential. All right, he's got to come out of his shell. He's got to put the effort in. So far, it looks like he might actually be on his way, but we got to see it, right? I got to see more, all right? Because I'm not there yet, kid. All right, bro. It's not there yet for me. It's coming. It could come. All right. All right. But you got to show me some more. Okay, let's see here. More questions, more questions. Randy Schmidt from Oakland, California. What are the chances Conor Murphy's World Drinking Championship becomes sanctioned and actually defends it? Last time I checked, it's not a wrestling belt, so I don't see it getting defended. Certainly not in a serious match, right? But maybe in a fun segment sometime. Barbara Williams from Windsor, Connecticut. Who do you see eventually winning their first championship in SCW? I think Ryan Keys is on the cusp. I know he just lost, so we're going to get to that in a little bit. I think he's got big talent. And you know what? Matt Spears also showed me that he can come back, right, from a disappointing loss and win. So I got my eye on those two guys. I like them. Rolando Gambino in Wichita, Kansas. Jesse Salco, Roxy Johnson, Kira Fisher, and Micah are all one title away from Triple Crown, with Salco and Johnson having also achieving the Grand Slam at the same time. Who has the best chance to win it and why? I'm not sure. This question seems convoluted. I'm not sure what you're asking. If you're asking who I think the next Triple Crown champ will be, will probably be Micah, but I don't remember her actually. I'm gonna skip this question because I think whoever answered it asked it fucked it up because it doesn't make any sense. Karen Cole from Salem, Oregon. What would you say was the best match in SCW so far in 2016? To me, it was the Gauntlet match, right, for the vacant World Heavyweight Championship. It was awesome. On top of that, also the triple threat match between Conor Murphy, J2H, and TNA at Blaze of Glory. But better than both of those matches was the main event, to me, the main event of Blaze of Glory, and that was Sammy Marlowe versus Melanie Gabrielle. That match was, to me, the best match of the year so far. And it's a shame now we may not see that again for a couple of years, if ever, because of Melanie Gabrielle's pregnancy. So, to me, hats off to those two ladies. They tore the house down on the biggest show of the year, and they deserve all the accolades for it. Matt Daniels, Houston, Texas. Fact or fiction, Zuri Chastain wins her first SCW championship at Into the Void. We're going to get to Zuri a little bit later. I'm not going to make this prediction now. I'll make it in a couple weeks when I do the prediction show for Into the Void 5. Okay, fair enough. Timothy Morrow, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Fact or fiction, a bombshell will eventually break Mercedes Vargas's 175-day bombshell roulette championship reign record. Fact. Someone will beat it eventually because records are made to be broken. Is it going to happen with the current bombshell roulette champion? I don't know, but someone will eventually break that record. Let's see here. Peter Cottonwood from Arkansas. Last Sunday's episode of Climax Control was shocking, but given the fact that Mercedes Vargas is the new bombshell champion, how long do you think it will take her to lose it? Not judging, but she did lose the Bombshell Internet Championship barely a month after attaining it. Right? I could be wrong. Again, some of these questions want to preclude what I'm going to talk about later in the show. But this guy's got a point, right? Mercedes has been in a slump, right? Mercedes, to me, I said it last week, even though I'm a big fan, didn't deserve that title, all right? And quite frankly, I'm not sure she actually deserves it right now, the way that match went down. But kudos to her. She was given an opportunity, and she took it. How successful and how long this reign will be, that remains to be seen. All right. Just judging by logic, it looks to me now it will be a triple threat match at the very least at Into the Void for the World Bombshell Championship match with Crystal Millar and Sam Marlowe, right? So I don't know. I can't answer that question right now. Sorry, Peter. Jeffrey George from Juneau, Alaska. Love SCW, love the Hotwire. Thank you so much. And I love all the bombshells. Totally random question and unrelated to wrestling. What's your go-to concession stand snack and drink? Um, I'm not much of a concession stand kind of guy. I like pretzels. And a good Coca-Cola, right? If you have Pepsi, get out of my fucking face, right? Personally, to me, it's all about dirty water hot dogs, bro. When I'm home, when I'm in New York, bro, and I see those hot dog stands, I just get salivated. A little bit of sauerkraut, a little bit of mustard. You can get that in New York. You can get it in Yankee Stadium. You certainly can't get it fucking in Japan or even on the West Coast in Vegas, right? So, um, hope that answered your question. Natasha from Cancun, Mexico. Twitter literally blew up after the last episode of the Hotwire. It was on fire. What was your favorite argument over Twitter since Friday, or non-argument, if you will? I don't really pay too much attention. You'll notice I don't tweet very much. Um, when I do, maybe it gets me in trouble, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But in reality, to me, Twitter seems to be filled with drama. And that's why I don't pay too much attention to it. I'll post little dibs and dabs here and there, but to me, I try to stay out of it. Hannah Henderson on Italy. Wow, we're getting international. I fucking love it. So, what is your opinion on Crystal Millar now? I just love hearing you talk about her. To me, nothing's changed. I had a little bit of high hopes for this, Silver Screens and Queens or whatever the fuck her new tag team name is, but they blew it. They didn't win the match. So, she's still a cock-choking whore, and that's how I feel. I know you will get into the matches later in the show, says Zola Marley in Costa Rica. But what match on the next episode of Climax Control are you most looking forward to? Um, what match am I most looking forward to? Um, Probably the main event. It's got a little bit of star power with J2H and Crystal Millar and obviously Sam Marlowe and Despair. And then you have the added layer with Mercedes Vargas, who's going to be the special guest referee. There's a couple of them, and I don't want to get too much into that because, I will get into that in a minute when we go through all of the matches for next week. Brian in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Now that Sam Marlowe has lost the title to Mercedes Vargas, are you going to get off of Mercedes' back? No, I'm not. Because I said it just a few minutes ago, and I'll say it again. She didn't deserve that match. Not entirely convinced she deserves the title now. Kudos to her for taking advantage of a situation, but she's still got a lot to prove. I'm a big fan. I think she's got a lot of talent, right? But she's coming on the heels of two pretty good title reigns, right? Sam was a great champion, a great bombshell world champion, and obviously before her was Micah, probably, at least statistically speaking, the best world bombshell champion of all time. So, I'm not convinced. Tiffany in Albany, New York. Rumors are all over the internet that Melody Grace and J2H have called it quits over her rumored kiss with Drake Green. Does this mean that the next super couple could be Melody and Drake? And if so, would Micah console herself with J2H? Listen, I'm a journalist and a celebrated analyst, okay? I was given some intel, and I passed it out. It's what I do. Am I to be held responsible, whether if the stuff is true or not true? No. Sorry, bro. I'm not the jury, okay? I'm not the judge. I'm certainly not the executioner, okay? I'm just a lawyer introducing the evidence, okay? I don't think, ultimately, that Melody and Drake Green will end up together. I just don't think that Drake Green is a good human being, and I don't even see his relationship lasting with Micah. So that to me is a non-issue, and we'll get into that a little bit more later. Patricia in Ottawa, what is your beef with Rage? I don't have a beef with Rage. I don't, but to me, and you guys are asking some pretty good questions this week, and a lot of it I have lined up for later in the show. But I don't have a beef with Rage. Okay, I don't consider it a beef anyway. Maybe he will. But when you have a lot of talent and you underperform, you're going to fucking hear about it from me. And if you don't like it, start performing and get the fuck out of the ring. Period. End of the conversation. Ian in Calgary, Alberta. Here in Calgary, we have the Hearts. Which wrestling family would you say is the best in SCW and why? To me, it's the Staggs family, right? When you look at that lineage, Eric Staggs, Spike Staggs, Tommy Staggs, Tim Staggs, obviously Vixen Staggs, and somewhere far out on a branch of that tree is Misty Waters, right? So by far the best SCW wrestling family there ever was and there ever will be. From Ben in Dover, will we ever see the SCW Bombshell title and ACW Women's title be combined? I think a match between a Mercedes Vargas and Vixen Staggs, the last ever ACW Women's Champion, would be a big buy rate. I think anytime Vixen Stagg gets back into the ring, it will be a big buy rate. I think people will spend money to see her. Whether it will be warranted or not, I'm not sure. If they're having a kid, being out of the ring for a long time, who knows? But people will pay. I don't think you need the old ACW Women's Championship to increase that. I don't know if that would do anything for ticket sales. Back when you had the ACW World Heavyweight Championship around, that was pretty much fresh off the heels of ACW's closing. And obviously you had Drake Green carrying it, who at the time was the biggest star in the company. So to me, it made more sense and less sense once it ended up with Shawn Jackson, which is why I think they decided to let's combine them and move on. I don't see any ACW titles coming back. Andy in Atlanta, my buddy, Andy, we missed you. Rage gets a rematch against Dimitri for the Internet title this week. I would like to see Dimitri retain, so I can see a grudge match between him and Casey for the Internet title. Your thoughts? I agree. I agree. And, there was some rumbling about, hey, you know what, if Rage wins his title back, that it will just end up being Dimitri versus Casey without a title. I don't think so. I think that if Rage wins that back, you'll end up seeing a triple threat for the Internet title for two reasons. One, Dimitri will be owed a rematch, right? And number two, I don't really see anybody else at this moment set up the challenge for that title. So I think you'll end up seeing some form of Rage slash Casey slash Dimitri at the Supercard, regardless of the outcome of this match. And for a good reason. I think the three of them together could put on a fantastic match. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And you know what? Anytime you can have some sort of fun when Rage is considered, to me, you have to fucking do it, right? Question 1 from Terry Borden, excuse me. Do you think there is any truth to Jesse Salco's allegations that Natalie McKinley uses performance-enhancing drugs? I would not be surprised, but to be honest with you, I think everybody uses PEDs these days, so I wouldn't be surprised. Question number 2. You have made no secret of the fact that you think the women's division in SCW is stronger than the men's division. And yet at the Supercars, more often than not, it is the men who are the ones that get to appear in the main event. What is your view on that? I think it's wrong. I think for the most part, the women are the better performers, but in some cases the men are the bigger draws, right? J2H is a big draw right now. Obviously, you've had Nick Jones, Drake Green, big draws, and you never really had that. I mean, Micah is a big name, but other than that, I mean, it never really another woman that kind of broke through to that level, and I think that's probably ultimately a business decision, not a wrestling decision. But you're right. I do think that the women should be headlining more shows because they've proven time and time again they are better overall competitors and a better overall division. All right, that's all the questions we got this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun like I did. I want to get into some of the action from last week, particularly just a few highlights. Number one, to me, I mentioned it before in the questions when someone asked, Ryan Keys lost that rematch to Matt Spears. So Matt Spears retains his number one contendership. I gotta say I was surprised. I thought Ryan Keys could win, except to me now these guys are 1-1, right? So they need a blow off match. So I'm disappointed there. I thought Ryan Keys could have walked into the void primed to win the roulette championship, and he could have walked out of into the void the roulette champion. So I'm disappointed there. Um, Also, I said Alexis Edwards would get pinned in her match, and she did, right? So take that to the bank, Alexis. You're a fucking loser again. Thumbs up. Zuri Chastain, right? Lady Justice. She's going to get a roulette title shot at Into the Void 5. And this is one of those matches where, is there any kind of heat there? I don't think so. This certainly wouldn't sell anything because there's no story behind it. And that also sometimes plagues the women's division a little bit. There's no like, I need to see what happens here. But this should be an awesome match. I think Zuri is an amazing competitor. She's been on a fucking roll since she's been back. And I'm really excited that she's getting put into some title picture because she absolutely deserves it. And the big news of the night was Mercedes Vargas' title win, right? Two female quote unquote fans distracted the ref, caused Sammy to lose. Sammy did have that match won at one point. I have a pretty good idea who those two quote unquote fans are, but I'm not going to speculate at this moment in time. So I was shocked. I mean, I really did not expect that outcome. I've said it a few times already. Mercedes didn't deserve that match. And now she's got a championship that she probably doesn't deserve either. But you know what? She's the champion. So credit where credit is due. A win is a win, right? So we'll see how she does with that belt. She's going to have a challenging match in a couple of weeks, I'll tell you that much. So she better be fucking ready. Other than that, it was a pretty quiet night. J2H came out early on the show, made a couple statements. This guy is looking stronger and stronger as a champion in many different ways. I don't see him losing it. I'm getting really excited for the Monsters versus Jamie Dean and Ben Jordan. I think that has the potential to show stealer written all over it. So little things like that. And again, of course, TNA, Travis Nathaniel Andrews, again called out Drake Green, even challenged him to show up to Climax Control next week. So it'll be interesting to see if good old Mr. Showtime responds to that. He is injured, so what is he really going to do? I don't know, but it would be interesting to see him show up. And that's pretty much what I got, Yeah, I can't think of anything else that really stood out to me. What about you guys? No? Yeah, I mean, again, other than that, because that was some pretty eventful stuff, there really wasn't much else that went on. Earlier in the week, I posted the Twitter question, the poll of the week. It was who will be the next SCW World Heavyweight Champion. The options I put out were J2H will never lose the title, Despair, Conor Murphy, and other. Got a couple votes for other, but the only names that were written in were Rage. And we're going to get to Rage in a little bit, so I don't want to spoil anything. J2H never losing the title, slightly edged out Despair, so most people seem to think that J2H will be champion forever. Personally, I think we all know that's not the case, but I don't think that I posted the next champion. I think he will retain eventually at Into the Void, but then again, you never know. But again, I don't think the next champion was in that list, so I would have selected other. But again, I think this is every week now in a row. The SCW universe disagrees with me. So what the fuck do I know, right? Let me ask you guys a question. Rumors. Rumors are rumors, right? They're never baseless, but it doesn't mean they're facts. Okay? So last week I said something about, listen, I heard from a couple people that I knew that Melody Green, foreshadowing, Melody Grace and Drake Green were canoodling in Beverly Hills, right? And then someone sent me some pictures to prove that. So I said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to post the pictures. Look, they said it wasn't Melody, or someone said it wasn't Melody. Melody certainly said it wasn't her. To me, I don't know. I couldn't make it out. I saw a blonde girl with Drake Green. Of course, Drake responded immediately with a statement that said, hey, obviously my hair is different. My beard is non-existent. I don't know. I couldn't really see all that either. So as far as I'm concerned, unless I get, something from someone that isn't just the person involved denying it, to me it still could be true. There were some rumors swirling around earlier in the week that because of all of this, Melody was looking to take some time off. Apparently, she's changed her mind. All right, she does have that movie coming up with Drake pretty soon, so she'll have to take a little bit of time off at some point. Which, by the way, I'm sure we'll have a couple of smooches in that film. All right, so we'll see how Twitter reacts to that one. Again, if I post something, if I say something, it's never baseless. It may not always be true, and it may prove out to be false, but that's a disclaimer. Okay, but it's never baseless. All right. Let's see here. There was also I've heard a certain champion has a beef with a former champion, and isn't afraid to let it show, which puts a certain superstar in a very awkward position. So apparently there is some legitimate beef between a couple people backstage. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. Apparently SCW is trying to downplay it, but so much so that two people couldn't be in the same room. That's what I've heard. Conor Murphy has also been heard talking about going after something in the tag division pretty soon. Will that be Tim Staggs returning or someone else? Who knows? But more than one person has told me that look to see Murphy in the tag division. I don't know if I think that is a good move for Conor. I think Conor personally has a shot to be world heavyweight champion. But I'm a big fan of tag team wrestling, and anytime you put a competitor like Conor in the tag team division, I'm excited. So if that's true, good. Sam Marlowe was in fact approached by Playboy to pose for the magazine. No word yet if she has actually said, hey, excuse me. No one's word if she's actually signed yet. All right, but from what I understand, it looks like they've offered her a chunk of money. Also, keep something that I've heard that should be a surprise to fucking no one. That Alexis Edwards was caught drinking again backstage. I saw her freaking out with some SCW security team members while I was backstage last week as well. So that is completely true if you hear that rumor. So who knows? This girl is obviously a fucking mess. It's a terrible tragedy because she's a great wrestler. But she's obviously got a lot of issues. Let's see what else. SCW merchandise. The sales were reported for last week for their tour in Japan thus far. And two names stick out the most. The first is Crystal Millar. Her merch has been selling through the roof. Imagine that. Which to me is not surprising. She's was the Blast for the Past tournament winner. She's going to headline the pay-per-view, or co-headline the pay-per-view, I guess I should say. So not a surprise at all. The surprise here is that Drake Green stuff has been flying off the racks. The guy has got a contract that's ending very soon that the owner of the company has vocally said will not renew. He's injured, hasn't been in action, for months now since he vacated the World Heavyweight Championship. But his fucking shirts are selling like hotcakes in Japan because they fucking love him there. So just interesting tidbit, I thought. That's all the rumors we got for this week. Not too much juice going on backstage. But again, always interesting to hear what's going on. Always interesting to see the dirt sheets, right? Next week is the final Climax Control before Into the Void. We're going to be live in Osaka, right? In the Maishima Arena, excuse me. And we're going to have some interesting match. There's going to be a non-title throw in the towel match. What's interesting about this, all right, this is James Siskini, the Superstar Roulette Champion, against Steve Ramone. All right. The interesting aspect of this match is who's in each other's corners. Ryan Keys will be in James Siskini's corner, and Matt Spears will be in Steve Ramone's corner. This, to me, screams four corners match, right, at the pay-per-view. I mean, just fucking screams it. All right, what's interesting about that is that my pick to walk out of Into the Void, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, as the Superstar Roulette Champion was Ryan Keys. All right, so to me, it looks like it could be shaping up to be an interesting early June for Ryan. Who knows? But I'm excited. The Surf Boys will take on TNA and Joshua Ocwen. Why TNA is being relegated to this fucking match is confusing. This guy's a star. He should be at the end of the fucking night on TV. So to me, this is just a fucking waste of a talent. Joshua, listen, you've been doing a little better. You've been putting a little more effort in, right? We give credit where credit is due, but I'm not completely sold. And obviously the Surf Boys, the Surf Boys are fun. Are they future Hall of Famers? No, but they are former tag team champions. They're a lot of fun to watch. They always have a good time. So this will be a fun match. Ultimately, I do think that TNA and Joshua will figure out a way to put the Surf Boys away. Singles match. To me, what will be the absolute show stealer of the night is Melody Grace versus Micah. Interesting timing with all that photograph bullshit last week, right? But it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to this one. And quite honestly, it's going to kill the rest of the card because this is going to be the match of the night. Micah did lose the last time she was in the ring. Melody has been pretty hot lately. I'm gonna go with back-to-back losses for Micah. I'm gonna pick Melody Grace to win this match. Listen, I know that would be another huge upset, but Micah has just looked lost the past few months, right? Since she's lost her title, she's lost that edge a little bit. She's not as focused. Whether that's a new budding romance with Drake Green, I don't know. But again, Melody is like super fucking focused. I think she's a future star. She's a future World Bombshell champion, and I think she's going to put Micah away this week. Singles match is going to be Kira Fisher, obviously with her partner Roxy Johnson versus Uriela Abadan. Uriela. Sorry, I know I pronounced it once at one point, but I'm pretty sure I'm butchering it now. Uriela Abadan with Lucy Serafina in her corner. It looks like we're gonna have the new reincarnation of the Angel Clan against Team Hero again. This may be one of those things where we have fledgling tag team divisions and don't have anyone else to put in this role, which is a shame because I think Lucy Serafina should be capitalizing on that momentum from pinning Micah, and instead she's going to end up in a tag team match, which she probably won't win. And I think in this match, though, I think you'll have the champion lose. Kira Fisher has proved two things to me during this title reign of a Bombshell Tag Team Champion. Number one, she's not as good a singles competitor as she's a tag team wrestler. Normally, when she's in one-on-one matches, she does not win. All right. And number two, she doesn't fucking pump her title at all. She honestly seems like, yeah, I'm great, I'm a champion, but I could give a fuck about the rest of the show and the rest of the company. So to me, just for the fuck you aspect of it, Uriela Abadan, you're going to win. Singles match, Ben Jordan with Jamie Dean in his corner, and then Samuel McPherson with Laura Robb in his corner. I will never pick against Ben Jordan in singles competition because I was an ACW fan. All right? I know what this guy can do. I think some of the stuff that has held him back a little bit is a lot of people don't realize this, but he's put on tremendous size. Like, he was a junior heavyweight up in Canada back in ACW, and now he's a full-on fucking heavyweight beast. I think there has been some transition for him that has held him back. I think he's on the cusp of kind of really breaking out again. And I'm going to go with him in this match. I think he'll put Samuel away. Internet Championship. Dimitri, who just beat Rage, will now have to take on Rage again. In that automatic rematch clause that Rage has invoked. I think Dimitri will win again. I think that Rage is not going to be able to beat Dimitri. It looked to me last time like he had his number. Listen, that doesn't mean that Rage isn't good. It doesn't mean that Rage can't be a star. It doesn't mean he can't be a world champion either. It just means that I think Dimitri has his number in this match, and that's it. Main event, I talked about it earlier. I alluded to it earlier. Mixed tag match, J2H and Crystal Millar versus Samantha Marlowe and Despair with Mercedes Vargas as a guest referee. I think that Mercedes Vargas as a referee somehow will come into play, and I think J2H will win the match with Crystal Millar. Should be a fun one, though. But, again, I think J2H and Crystal Millar will walk away. Those are my predictions. Maybe you agree with them, maybe you don't. I bounced back last week. The week before, I was really fucking off, but I was pretty good last week. So we'll find out how I did this week. A couple more segments left to the show. Normally, I do this one earlier on, but I wanted to save this because he came up a lot during the show. So I thought I really would rather put an exclamation point on this rather than talk about it in the beginning of the show. And that's what's eating Tom. Right? We always talk about what's eating Tom. What's bothering Tommy Knox? Right? You know what's bothering Tommy Knox? It's fucking Rage. Right? To me, again, I've said it before, Rage has got all the talent in the world. He sometimes bores the ever-living shit out of me. Right? But he's a beast in the ring when he wants to be. He lost his title. Look, you're not going to win every match, and it just happened to not be his night. I don't think that ruins his career by any stretch of the imagination. But he said something, so I tweeted the question, right? Who is going to be the next world heavyweight champion? And he responded to that with, what? I don't get a mention here? Let's be clear, okay? If you cannot defend the title, specifically a lower tier title, in your first title defense, don't come to Tommy Knox and bitch about not being included in the World Heavyweight Championship picture, all right? Defend the title once, twice, 3 times, okay? And then maybe, just maybe, you'll get a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship, okay? Right now, Rage, as talented as I think you are, as better of a competitor as I think you probably are, as some people in line for a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship, you don't deserve it, right? Because statistics don't speak. They don't match up right now. So the best thing for you is to regain that title this week, okay? Prove me wrong, beat Dimitri, okay? Defend it into the void, okay? Defend it again at Climax Control. Defend it against at Summer Extreme, okay? And then maybe we can start talking about the World Heavyweight Championship. But until then, bro, you're just fucking eating at my fucking soul, all right? That's what's eating Tom this week. All right, guys, we're going to wrap up the show. But before we wrap up the show, we're going to do everyone's favorite segment, Stock Up, and then everyone's least favorite segment, Stock Down. Stock Up this week. I've said some bad words about her recently. Certainly in this show, I wasn't overly excited about her. But Mercedes Vargas, you are a world bombshell champion, and if I'm not mistaken, you're now a Grand Slam champion. And anytime that happens, your stock goes up. All right, congratulations. Again, a little bit of a muddy victory for you. Not too sure you deserve that belt or even deserve that match, but you took advantage of the spot you were given. God bless you. Congratulations. I wish you all the best with your title run. And just be ready for Into the Void, because that whatever situation they put you in, it's not going to be easy. I tell you that. Zuri Chastain, your stock is up, right? You've been rocking and rolling since you've been back, undefeated so far, I believe, and now you get a shot, right, at Kate Steele and her Roulette Championship at Into the Void. Again, I'm not going to make the prediction on that match now. I'm sure some of you can imagine what I will end up picking, but good job, Zuri. You deserve some accolades here, and I'm glad you're getting recognized. Final stock up of the week is the Mostimals, right? You guys won a tag team match last week. These people get overlooked. I said it last week. I'll say it again. These are the best male tag team on the roster. Just because they're not the champions doesn't mean they're not the best. I think that they are fucking beasts. And you know what? They deserve to be talked about. They deserve to be in the championship picture, which they are. They ultimately will have another shot at the gold at Into the Void, and I'm looking forward to that match. All right, everybody, it's time for your stock to go down. Stock down number one, Veronica Taylor. Right, your stock just keeps fucking plummeting. All right, we need to find you a tag team partner and put you back in the tag team division because you may be one of the best tag team wrestlers that SCW has ever seen. In singles competition, sweetheart, it's just not working for you. I don't know what it is. Maybe you need that crutch of having someone else help you out in the ring. But as a tag team wrestler, you absolutely fucking shine. All right? You shine. But not so much in singles competition. You lost pretty convincingly in the last couple matches that you've had. And most recently this past week against Damian Marshall. And to be honest with you, I think it's time to look for a tag team partner. All right? Stock down number two, Constantine, SCW's first Greek superstar. You fucking suck. You're awful. You put no effort in. Stop showing up to my fucking show. Period. Peace. Blowing the deuces to Constantine. And the final stock down, and their stock's going to be down every week until they fucking prove me otherwise, is Team Hero. You may be the best tag team in the ring. You're terrible champions. All right? You don't take pride in your titles. You don't take pride in SCW. All right? And until you do, I'm going to put you in the stock down segment every week. I can't stress that enough. Best tag team in wrestling, right? Your stock is down. Okay? Start putting prestige into the belts that you have. Just because you win all the time doesn't give those titles prestige. All right? You got to make people want them. All right? People don't necessarily want them. They may want to beat you, but they don't want to beat you because you're making the titles great. All right? They want to beat you so they can make the titles great. All right? Make the title great. That's all we got this week, guys. Next week, just so you know, it's just going to be a small review show over the Final Climax Control. All right? Don't expect predictions next week because they're not going to happen. All right? We will do the big Into the Void pre-show 2 days before Into the Void, all right, where we will break down every match, all right, and we will talk about all the in and outs of the annual Into the Void Super Show. But please keep those questions coming. Keep those rumors coming in. Let's pump those dirt sheets. All right. And as always, guys, if you didn't like the show, please go fuck yourself.